Hi! My team was walking back to the camp and it was getting really dark. Teacher suddenly dropped his phone. We tried to help him find it, but our flashlight ran out of batteries. You should have seen their scared faces. I had to think fast. I told teacher wet soil's energy can light the bulb. Teacher said that's a great idea. So I thought to remove the batteries and put some soil inside. Connect the wires and light it up. The team was so amazed. We found the phone. Problem solved. Maybe next time we'll bring some extra batteries. I'm an Alpha Kid.
Powered by Promil Gold 4. Your child can be an Alpha Kid too. Visit facebook.com/Promil Gold 4.
Hi everyone, this is Raising Alpha Kids at Home, brought to you by Promil Gold 4 and Rappler. And this is episode 1, Keeping Alpha Kids Ahead, Even at Home. And again, this is brought to you by Promil Gold 4 and Rappler. My name's Isa Litton, and I am a mom of 2. I'm happy to be here with you today as we discuss ideas and concerns, of course, especially during this hard time that we seem to be all stuck or just based at home. But don't worry, it will be a very, very interesting discussion because we invited today an Alpha expert. She is a family psychologist. She is Doc Michelle Alignay. Hi, Doc Michelle.
Hi, Isa. Hi, everyone who are tuned in. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Doc Mitch. I was actually first saying, first and foremost, I want to say what Alpha Kids are. So Alpha Kids, of course, are kids who are, for me, curious. They are independent. They are problem solvers. They always like to find answers or solutions to problems. Very energetic. Do you agree with that?
Yes, I agree with that. Exactly what you said. They are actually the kids now that we're raising, the small ones, 3-year-old and above, and they're very much ahead of the game. You know, they want to be everywhere. They want to learn a lot of things.
Now, before anything else, before we actually get into the discussion, a little reminder to all of our parents out there, all the advice provided by our expert, in this case, Doc Michelle Alignay, is actually not a substitute, ha? It's not a substitute for professional medical advice, nor a medical diagnosis or treatment. We always encourage you to please consult with your own healthcare professionals or pediatricians in a case-to-case basis. And last but not least, just to clarify, questions and concepts related to our discussion today is applicable for children 3 years old and above. Thank you very much. Okay, Doc Mitch, kamustahan muna tayo. Sige, I already shared a bit as a mom, what kind of mom I am, and really about raising Alpha Kids. How about you? What's your backgrounder as a family psychologist? Kamusta ka?
As a family psychologist, well, of course, everybody is work from home set up at this in our circumstance, and I'm with my kids. I have a Gen Z kid, which is my son who's 13, and my daughter, and she's in the borderline of the Gen Z and an Alpha kid as well. So you can call me both an expert and a mom who's raising her own Alpha kid.
So again, do you echo my sentiments about Alpha Kids? The problem solvers, they're very curious, independent,
Super. They,
diba?
I have, I'll share with the moms here that they are the ones who's always trying to look for answers. They are not satisfied with just, just that. Okay, they want more when you answer a question that they ask. They want why. There, that's the challenge that we have as moms.
Because I like actually that it shows, hey, you're thinking,
Mm-hmm,
diba?
mm-hmm,
So,
mm-hmm.
okay. So now that you already mentioned that we are in this situation, we're going actually, it's not bago na eh. It's already been 2 months, right? So
Yes.
this is not new. This is not already something that just came out of nowhere. We are slowly
Mm-hmm.
adjusting, and this is actually what people are already calling the new normal. So
The new
being
normal.
being in this new normal, then I have no doubt that parents out there, including me, we have our own challenges in adapting into this new normal. So let's go into that first, especially for those
Mhm.
who have kids 3 years old and above. Like,
Mhm.
there are balls of energy and curiosity.
Super there.
One of their first questions would be, why can't I go out? Diba?
Yes. Why can't I see my friends? Why
Yeah.
can't I have play dates? Why am I not going to school? There, we are all in that situation, especially with the parents who are raising the smaller ones. And the three, tama ka Isa, no? They have a lot of energy. They have a lot of questions, and now they feel everything is confined, or shall we say, quote unquote, trapped in the home. So everything here that's happening with the child, I believe it's a challenge for the parents to deal with them. Let us remember also that even though that we are in the new normal, these kids are developing right at the moment that we are talking and listening to them. It's they are in the process of developing, and the stage of these children, the childhood stage, is probably the most crucial development phase in a
Ooh.
person's life. There, we need to
Okay.
consider that.
Sige, before we get into that, because that sounds like a deep, ano
Yes,
na, we can actually
yes.
go through the layers there. But for now, just to really paint a picture, those are the first two questions, like from me and from you, what we brought up. It's the why can't we go out? Why can't
Yes,
I hug like tito or tita who visits anymore, right?
yes,
Na I
yes.
can't, why do I always have to wash my hands? It's all this, I'm only staying at home na lang, no talking, no playing,
Mm-hmm.
no go to the park, no biking. I mean, this is a child's world, and these are the
Yes,
routines that they got so used to already,
yes.
right? So now it's all at a halt. So for me, thankfully, my kids we have a good relationship now when I try to explain something. And when I do explain something, they're like, oh, okay, we trust mama. Actually, I like that they're taking it from my example. They're following my lead. Na I get conscious, I cannot show them I'm breaking down or I'm panicking because I also want them to, they learn by example, really. So if mama's calm,
Modeling.
exactly. So if mama's calm, if mommy's taking that, there must be a good reason, and I'll help mama along. But it's
Yes.
their kids are kids. They're also like, can I go out now? There are those moments, and I'm like, baby, it's still not over, diba? So
Mhm.
what else can we do today that will help you, feel better about today? So with that as a background, Doc Mitch, you were saying this is such a crucial time, especially
Mhm.
for kids 3 years old and above. This major aspects of a child's growing up years. It's a little segue to that, maybe.
Yes. Yeah, it's good for us parents to remember that this is really the crucial stage. But even though that we have a different situation, it doesn't mean that the development of our kids are also halted, diba? So we need to remember that they're still the active, the inquisitive, and the child who wants to be interested with a lot of things. But we need to somehow tweak the things that we do now from how we used to do it then. But I know that a lot of parents are challenged with their work from home
Oh
situation.
yeah, that
You
too.
know, everything is happening, the leisure time, the family time, the work time, and
It's all muddled up na.
it's all, yes, and there's no boundaries. But I would
Actually,
still challenge the parents that we really need to do it. We are on top of this. Nobody will do this for our kids. As
yeah.
much as we are going through our own, anxiety, concerns, we have to set time, and we have to set that tone for our kids. I would like to take with what you said, that's modeling for your children is very important, Isa. I agree with that, because if they see us composed, if they see us having a good mindset on this, then it would be easy for us to, unpack everything with their children and make the most out of this learning experience from home while we are at home there.
Thank you for bringing up, Doc Mitch, that again,
Mm.
it's not necessarily just from our kids' point of view, because this also affects all parents. Because we're all in this together. Sino pa ba ang mga nagsasama-sama sa mga bahay, kundi parents and their children? So I like to just touch on something that Doc Mitch just mentioned. Thank you, Doc Mitch, for assuring us that just because we are in this quarantine situation, hindi to hadlang. It is not
Yes.
something that will halt our children's development, right?
Yes. It's also, having a right mindset that even though that our movements are limited, the development of the child continues, and we just need to not just make do, but make the most out of what we have right now. Because
Grateful
maybe,
attitude.
yes, maybe because we are, looking at, "Oh, I cannot have this, I cannot do this, we used to do this." If we keep getting stuck there, then it will be hard for us to shift. So this is a shift mindset for the parents, because the only way we can shift our kids and maximize the learning of these very inquisitive and very
Energetic.
active alpha kids is for us to carry that mindset na, hey, my child is in the ball game. I need to be here as well. I need to be on top of things as well.
Okay.
There.
So being on top of that, let me break it down some more. So one of the best ways for kids to learn, especially my kids, is routine. And I believe in routine because with routine comes discipline, this familiarity, this sense of security. Diba? Back then, it would be get up early, eat your breakfast, ride the school bus, go to school.
Good
Eh,
school. Yes.
wala na yun ngayon.
Yes.
Diba?
Agree.
So
Agree.
this shift that you're saying, sige, how can we go about it?
Well, starts with routine again. 'Di ba? Yan yung nasira. So I believe that kids thrive on a particular routine. So you don't necessarily have to mimic what you had before. You
Mm.
need to redo and you need to reboot what you have now at home, so that we can focus on the more important things. For example, the waking up, it can be a little later than what we're used to having. The breakfast, it can be a little different. Maybe mom and dad can have breakfast with them, but after
Yeah.
that, we need to move them into, hey, you need to start doing things for yourself, because mommy has work, daddy has work. So there,
Yes.
we need to tweak the routine in order for them to have that sense of normalcy, sense of being at home, and also that sense that I have a mission today and mom and dad has a mission to do work. So each
Yes.
person in the home can have that expectation, because routines are also expectations there.
Doc Mitch, I like how you painted this picture because I'm of course I'm in the business of words. Being a
Mm-hmm.
host and being a moderator, I tend to choose my words carefully in the sense
Mm-hmm.
that instead of saying you cannot or you don't, I also like, hey, when you said routine, so waking up not too early but 8 o'clock. Guess what? We can have breakfast together. Now we have
Yes.
everyday breakfast together. So you're offering something new in a more exciting way. And then 10 o'clock, I want to pick up on a word you said, today's mission. So you do this because mommy's mission is to
Is to
do that.
work.
Diba? Parang it's just putting it in the sense that there's a new structure, there's this new adventure, and it's not something, why not like this anymore? You actually, it's this mindset that you're developing. It's a non-complaining mindset, and it's also something that's growth oriented. I should think. Is that right?
I agree with that. It's also, gearing the kids into something that they can look forward to, something different for today,
Mm-mm.
something that they would like to do, something that interests them, something that they're very, very inquisitive about. And then it's also, I like what you said, that language of no, not that, not this, we cannot have
Yeah.
this, but focusing on what can we have, what can we do, what can we
Yes.
learn, and what can we achieve today. So that's
Yes.
really a growth mindset.
Okay, here's the thing now. Again, I personally, for me, my kids are done. So,
Yes.
summertime na ngayon. What
Mhm.
about for those who don't have school? At least for those who still have school, I hope we clarify that with what Doc Mitch and I were just bringing up. It's still a routine. I hope you still get them on this routine. Just again, later wake up time, breakfast time, but keep them on this learning schedule that maybe by 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock or 10 to 12, may lunch break syempre, can be like,
Yes.
can you read, can you do some artwork, you still assign activities for them to do because we are building on this routine building of security, independence, but at the same time, for me, wala nang school talaga mga anak ko. So my problem was they were looking forward to different activities like their swim meets, gymnastics competitions, wala
Yes,
na
the
yun ngayon.
sports there. Yes.
Exactly, diba? So now for the after school activities or summer activities, how do you think we should best address that as parents?
Oh. it's nice to still have a routine, like you can do a schedule with your kids. So you can sit down with them, make a creative schedule. Okay, these are the things that I hope you would do for a day, and then this is how much time that you can do it. And then maybe mommy and daddy can write it together with the child. If the child is a bit bigger, maybe she can write it down, but make sure that there's a balance of the things. And it doesn't mean that because the summer activities of kids are already non-existent for this summer, it doesn't mean that they get stuck playing and engaging in active play or engaging in something that they like, because it can be not swimming, but you can have water play,
Yes, at home.
gardening, yes, cleaning the car. So
Yeah.
it can be shifted to something different. So for example, you cannot have active activities like my son has basketball, my daughter wants to have gymnastics. Well, you can try doing something else, like having uh, free play on your small court at home. And my daughter is also starting to play with her hula hoops, and she's playing with my yoga mat for her tumblings, and also because
Was it jump
yes,
ropes? Go
and
back to
then
the basics.
go I,
Kahit nga with the chalk, yung piko ba yun? Yung
yes,
1, 2,
yes,
3, 4,
yes,
5.
yes.
So,
It's gonna be fun if we teach kids the basic. One mindset that I would like to invite the alpha parents is that the kids can learn at home. Even kitchen can be a classroom. If we're
actually,
fretful about the things that our kids cannot have, we can actually be happy with how much resources we can save this summer, because the kids can learn a lot from home. It just
yeah.
needs to have creativity and proper planning by everybody in the family.
Definitely, because again, bringing it back to Wired, it's hi again. If you just tuned in, welcome to Raising Alpha Kids at Home. This is brought to us by Promil Gold 4 and Rappler. I'm Isa Litton, and this is Doc Michelle Alignay. We're giving you tips on how to raise alpha kids at home. So far, we've been really stressing on this importance of routine, creativity. So now that whether or not our kids, 3 years old and above, 3 years old and above only are actually whether or not they're in school or on summer break, it's really all about bringing up activities that they can do to keep their learning possible. Para they still have an advantage, and all these learnings can actually be incorporated with things to do in your own home. It's still educational in its own right. Tama, di ba,
Yes,
Doc Michelle? It is still considered
agree.
educational learning. It may not be a chalk and classroom setup,
Mhm.
di ba, no teacher, but through different activities, they are educational in themselves, like chores. Tama ba, Doc Michelle?
Yes, activities. This is the time that we can really embrace the mindset that the home is their classroom. It
Mm-mm.
doesn't mean the teacher doesn't necessarily have to be mom or dad all the time, because they can be taught and they can learn from engaging in assigned tasks. Remember that the alpha kids, these young ones, are very inquisitive. They want to answer why, when, how one thing connects with the other. That's really
They
part
like
of their.
they actually like to figure things out on their own also.
Yes,
They
this
don't
is
have to be correct all the time, Muna, because they're still figuring it out.
yeah, that's why it's best for the parents to understand that this is the stage when the kids are they're trying to understand how the world works.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, their social emotional need is that they need to sustain their sense of initiative, meaning I want to learn to do things on my own.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I will ask you, but I don't need all the help from you, mom, dad, or whoever's taking care of them.
Oh my.
So
I'm sure some mommies' hearts are breaking right now. They're like, no,
yeah, that's
mommies,
part of
daddies,
kids
trust
growing up
me.
from
This
it.
is for their own good. You will
Yes.
thank yourselves and give yourselves a pat on the back if you
Yes.
raise independent kids. Mm-mm.
Because when they start showing that they initiate things, the kids are looking for a sense of purpose.
Mm-mm.
Remember, their sense of purpose, especially the school age kids, the preschools, they're the sense of purpose. They love going to school. They love playing with friends. So their sense of purpose in that, being a friend, being a student, it was abrupted by all the changes that we had. So
Yeah.
at home, when they say na, can I help wash the dishes? Can I try doing that? Can I help set up the table? It means that
Yes.
their initiative is trying to learn that they can do things and then they can really learn something. So you can use those situations to actually stimulate them.
Mm-mm.
Like if they're in the kitchen, maybe you ask them, what do you think is that for? Why do you think there's fire? So you're not talking about heat. You're talking about danger also in the
you're you're
home.
teaching them life skills because actually also with me since this quarantine napaso once ang anak ko. I'm like, it's an oven. She's like, I didn't touch the inside naman, but it's a metal surface. Hello, metals are conductors. I mean, these are all things na you didn't necessarily have to break down via a blackboard in a classroom setting,
Mhm.
but she learned via experience, 'di ba?
So that's the
So
best time for parents. How do we stimulate their intellectual development?
life
Then
skills.
from learning from life, learning from home, then you can start asking the right question.
Mm-mm.
Why do you think you get paso? Why do you think there's heat? Because there's fire. So there's a
Yes.
connection. So
And
why do you
guys,
think that's how the world goes? So that one is connected with the other. And then they can start it from there. Everything at home, it can be a time to and a chance. The parents need to remember that it can be an opportunity for the kids to learn and the parents to ask the kids the right questions for them to maximize the opportunities that we have now.
again, this is not to pressure the parents. Parents, I'm sure by this time, baka I hope you're all tuned in to our discussion and that you're engaged with us. Baka naman iniisip nyo, nako, ako pa magiging teacher ngayon. Nagluluto na nga ako. Ako pa kailangan ko pa mag-teach. On top of that, no, no, no. Think of it as a practical approach that when you actually invite your kids to actually participate in some household chores and activities, be it in the kitchen or even cleaning up the room, your house, cleaning your car. There's like uh, dynamics of a conversation in a practical learning
Yes,
setting. Again, I
yes.
just want to make sure our parents are not gonna feel like overwhelmed na ang dami ko nang
Mhm.
ginagawa. Kailangan,
Yes.
kailangan ko pa magturo. 'Di ba?
Isa, the nice thing here is that, as I said earlier, these kids are very inquisitive. They're
Mm-mm.
very interested on how the world connects with the other and how things go. And also, they are searching for their sense of initiative. So you have to remember those three: initiative, they're interested, and they're inquisitive. Because of that, you also need to learn, the parents, that I would like you to remember that not to do everything for them. They can be given a little prodding, so not to burden the parents. You don't need to do everything for them. And then you have to remember that the child needs alone or personal time. And the
Ayun.
child is also allowed to be bored at times and to rest, because that is very critical for their development as well.
That's also good for us parents to be reminded of also. Dahil, again, alpha kids are not necessarily those na go, go, go. Rest and
Mm-hmm.
relaxation, as Doc Mitch said, is part of growing up and fostering this healthy kind of mindset na balance is key
Yes.
to everything.
Yes.
Diba?
You
So,
know, if you notice your kids becoming too hyped up and
mm-mm.
becoming too active, you invite them to sit down and rest. Because even us
Overstimulated.
adults, yes, they're
Oo,
overstimulated.
overstimulated.
And then sometimes it creates the meltdown. And in Tagalog, ito na yung may topak na sila.
I
And then we
remember.
don't want that to happen. What if you have an important meeting in the afternoon and then they're having
Yes.
a meltdown? So by doing a routine, you're also, teaching the child that, hey, this is the time for you to do, there's a time for everything. This is a time for play. If you're going to be very active at this hour, the next hour should be reading time. It
Yes.
should be alone time, or it should just be plain break time. You can even call it a nothing time, so that they will
Actually,
know that to appreciate rest and break. Because once we start doing that, later on the kids becomes more creative. The more that they can think things better, the more that their emotional development is also on cue, because you're allowing them to just sit in with their feelings.
I used to turn that into a game with my kids just to share.
Uh-huh.
I like to turn that
Wow.
into a game na can it be 10 minutes if you talk to mama not within 10 minutes, you lose. Diba? Parang,
I remember doing
longer,
that
yung
with
mga
my
ganun, parang,
daughters also. Yes.
diba, na, again, no talking for 10 minutes. It can be a game, and then you kind of have this eye contact na parang at each other. But at least that's better than, anak naman, tama na. I mean, diba? Again, it's the
Well,
attack.
I think parents are so used to, just making saway.
Mm.
But if our kids have guideline and they know what to expect, and they know, like, they see us plugged in our earphones in front of our computer, they know that that's a cue. They know what to expect from us. When they have the routine, and then they know that these, if mommy has work, you have play, you
Yeah.
have your activities, and play is serious work for kids. You
Mm-mm.
have to remember that.
That's how they learn best.
That's
Honestly,
how they
that's
learn best.
how our children learn best. If you give them parameters or suggestions on what to do, trust your kids. There's something going on up here. They're putting things together, they're figuring things out, and you might even be surprised with what answers or cuento that they will give you later na. How's your day? What did you do today? I love how my kids always surprised me in that manner.
Yes, my kids will show me her drawings after a day, and then it keeps getting better and better. But the thing is, we don't box them that you should do this, you should,
Yeah.
should. Can I just suggest some activities that the
Yes.
parents can
Yes,
explore?
please.
Well,
Yes, please, Dr.
reading is very critical for intellectual development and for quiet time. Reading really works because it allows them to just sit down and to learn, and also to be reflective and insightful. Remember, insight is very important. Another one, if they have somebody to play with, board games or card games. And then this is what I like: gardening, watering. They like that. They like getting wet and also
Playing with
washing the
water.
dishes. Yes,
Tactile, that's called ano yun, tactile stimulation.
tactile, kinesthetic activities. And also, you can also ask them to help you check things in the pantry, the supplies, linen, counting this for mommy. Why? It's math. And
Yes,
also, if you ask them to
memory.
look at the kitchen, it's sequencing. So you
Mm-mm.
can learn that. Another thing is that, of course, if you have blocks, it's very important. Blocks, these blocks that they can create. If you have cardboards, the ones that are plain cardboard, kids can turn it into their fortress. They can turn it into a dollhouse.
Tense. Yup.
Just give it to them, leave it to them, and then I'm sure they're going to be creative. Another thing, my teacher friends use this term. They call it loose play. All these scraps of fabric that you have, or all these beads that you have, just give it to them, because they will turn it into something that's being creative, and that's really intellectually stimulating, because they will learn. Innovation is key right now. They learn to innovate from what they have. As I always say, don't do everything for them, or don't give them everything, because if you give them everything, we are already abrupting
Boxing them.
also their
Yeah,
creativity.
exactly.
And yes.
Sorry, Doc Mitch. On that beads note lang, if it's too small, because knowing some
No,
boys,
yeah.
I know 3 years old and above, but they get curious and might put
Mm-hmm.
just that one. That's why I was like slowly raising my hand on the beads. Maybe
Yes.
something bigger. Okay. Anyway.
Okay. Yeah, but it's important for the parents to know their kids' interest here. Kasi,
Yes.
for example, if it's for the boys and they like cars, and maybe the cardboard can become a truck later on,
Yes.
and then it's something that they would really like to do. Another one, if it's the preschool 5, 6, 7, you can make them, okay, you be a writer for the day. What will I write? Anything that you like. You can be a speller for the day. You can be a scientist today, and then later on you show me your what you found out. You experiment, and maybe you can be a math today. You add everything, all the objects in the kitchen, you add it, or all the objects in the bathroom. You try to check what are those, and then try to see how many is like this. So you see, the kids, these kids, the stage of the kids, they are very creative. They also want make believe play. So
Actually.
maybe yung mukha lang, it just look like we're planning, that we are keeping them busy, but actually we're trying to make them learn while we keep busy. When we do work, the kids work. They work hard with their playtime, and
They
that's
are
where they
learning.
learn best there.
Definitely. That's how we are raising our alpha kids at home. Again, it may not be the classroom type of learning, but do not underestimate the learning capability of your kids while being in your own homes. In fact, to add to some of the suggestions of activities that Doc Michelle already said, when you said again, be it memory games and all that, I like to also shift this position of power, like they're a game master. So it's
Mhm.
actually like making a list of what you think our child, our house needs right now. So be it from the bathroom, blah blah blah. So they're like, Mama, what items in the bathroom do you think are blah blah blah, diba? So parang it's your
Yes.
own game na okay,
Mhm.
5 letters, Mama, blah blah blah. So and I have to, is that soap? No, 5 letters nga. O, diba? Parang shampoo. So
Oh,
it's good.
you're giving them power and the opportunity to be the one to be in command of the game, be in command of their play. They
It
really
boosts
like
their confidence level. They're
yes,
like, I know something. Mama
yes,
doesn't.
yes. There.
So, Doc Mitch, again, it's. I hope that this is something that we've been so generous. Thank you so much about giving tips to all of our parents out there who are, I'm sure, at this point looking for ways to actually how keep our children abreast, keep our kids again alpha kids. So,
Yes,
would you like to give us a last minute, parang a last rundown of your
yes.
suggestions how to keep going, especially in this time? So that they are
Okay.
on top of their alpha kids learning abilities.
I like that. Remember our parents, remember that alpha kids, remember the three eyes that I shared. First is they're very interested on how the world works. Second, they're very, very much inquisitive. So they ask a lot of questions. So we have to make sure that we give them the right answers and we also ask the right questions that not answerable by yes or no,
I agree.
questions that they will make them think. And lastly, their social emotional need is that need to feel that they can initiate the sense of initiative because when they start doing things for themselves they feel that they have a purpose and also it develops their sense of competency and sense of confidence. And just as a few points for parents, maximize that stage, the three I's: inquisitive, initiative, and their interest. And also maximize spending time at home with them. Don't look at this chance being at home like we are stuck, we cannot do this. Look for this as an opportunity to be home and to learn together. You don't necessarily have to mimic teacher. You don't necessarily have
Yeah.
to make a school out of the home, but even for play, for learning, and just activities, you can bond together by having fun and having fun learning with your children. And lastly, make the most of what is available. And one thing that we're available now is each other, so we can bond further to get to know our kids and develop better relationships with them. And this is the time that we can make the most out of home life because we are all at home there.
Definitely. And that's another trait of an alpha kid, resourceful, making do
Yes,
with what you have. So, Doc Mitch, I love the three I's again that you just spelled out: initiative,
interest. They
interest,
have to keep their interest. Yes, and
initiative, interest,
inquisitive.
and being inquisitive. So again, with that in mind, keep it, please. Not those are not just for our kids, but for our parents. This is all in the mindset. Let's not think of it as something additional on our part, but
Mhm,
really it's something we're already so capable of giving.
mhm.
I think having
Yes,
that particular mindset na it's not something extra, it's something we are actually built for and something we are capable of. Is that correct, Doc
that
Mitch?
yes, yes, because whether we are outside or inside, our kids are developing, and our alpha kids need that extra boost for us to maximize their stage right now. So please, parents, we are on top of this because we need to do a little for our kids so that later on they can make things bigger for themselves.
Thank you very, very much, Doc Mitch. Again, thank you very, very much for everything that you've actually shared with us today. And it doesn't end there. We have more to come. But I hope that with these tips that Doc Mitch was already able to share, and I like, again, how you broke down all these not just activities you gave us, but how the activities actually relate to the learning experiences, not just intellectually, but socially. It's really making sure that our kids are actually developing pa rin
Yes,
despite these tough times, right? So
literally, it's all in our hands and it's all at home. It's all in the parents' management that will make it matter, especially with the alpha kids that we're raising now.
thank you. Again, from the
Thank
bottom of
you.
my heart, I learned as well. And we as parents, no pressure because we too are learning. That's why we have
Yes.
each other. And that's why we have this. So if you found this very, very helpful, do tune in again next week for another very, very interesting episode on how we can raise Alpha Kids at home. But before I say goodbye, a couple of reminders again. Thank you to our Alpha expert, Doc Mitch Alignay, our
Thank you
family
too.
psychologist. Thank you. And don't forget that the advice provided by our experts in the show are not intended as substitutes for professional medical advice nor medical diagnosis or treatment, okay? Always please consult your own healthcare professionals, pediatricians. And at the top of that is that all the topics we discussed are questions and concerns. These are related for children 3 years old and above. 3 years old and above. Doc Mitch, it's been an absolute pleasure. Again, keeping Alpha Kids ahead, even at home, brought to you by Promil Gold 4 and Rappler. I'm Isa Leton, and I hope to see you all again next week. Thank you, Doc Mitch. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Hi! My team was walking back to the camp and it was getting really dark. Teacher suddenly dropped his phone. We tried to help him find it, but our flashlight ran out of batteries. You should have seen their scared faces. I had to think fast. I told teacher wet soil's energy can light the bulb. Teacher said that's a great idea. So I thought to remove the batteries and put some soil inside. Connect the wires and light it up. The team was so amazed. We found the phone. Problem solved. Maybe next time we'll bring some extra batteries. I'm an Alpha Kid.
Powered by Promil Gold 4. Your child can be an Alpha Kid too. Visit facebook.com/PromilGold4.